Yeah. Look, they smiling.
Oh, y'all was at that march today? Now we got it. You know who that guy is? You know why he's such a hellraiser? Because that's Nero. Emperor Nero coming back, reincarnated. There's a thing called reincarnation. Trust me. Do the research.
Hey, a bunch of carpet munchers.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the one in the
Alright, so first off, I'm going to start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh Bashin Yahweh Shah. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shout out to the whole flesh, started 144,000, Shalom. Alright, so, Lord willing, right? And, you know, the part of the screen request, a part in, Elder Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Kabar street ministry they do on Saturdays, right? And you know, it was last Saturday, you know, they had that war ride protest thing or whatnot. But you know, I was watching Elder Apostle Gabar lesson earlier, you know, he was going into like, you know, the lesson he posted, it was talking about let me see, part of our land, the Edomites, right? And in the beginning, though, he was going into how, you know, our land being, you know, like he was going into, you know, the restoration of Israel, and you know, he was going into how our people were scattered all over things and whatnot, right? You know, 70 A.D. things of that such, right? And as he was mentioning the emperors, who you know how Vespasian, Titus, Domitian, right? Once was going into it, you know, it hit me in the spirit because I want to say last Saturday, when the brothers had sent this picture to us, right? And, you know, we was kind of talking about it in the group chat as well, you know, talking about how, the things that was going on around that time, right? And, Lord willing, I want to go to this, Ecclesiastes 1 and I'm going to start at verse 9, read verse 9 to 10, right? It says, the thing that has been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us, right? So these things that ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything is reincarnated, man. You know, it's reincarnated and it comes back, right? You know, and understanding that, right? I'm gonna go to Romans 15:4, right? And it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime before our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, right? And we understand, you know, Nero was one of the 12 Caesars, right? I want to say he had to be, because he was right before the year of the first started, so he had to be around the 8th, right? Let me see, year of Slacky. 12 Caesars in order, right? Yeah, so you had Julius Caesar the first one, Augustus the second one, Tiberius the third one, Caligula the fourth one, Claudius the fifth one, Nero the sixth one, Nero the sixth one, right? And then you got Galba, Ortho, Vitellius, and Vespasian. That's the years of 4 emperors. And 4 years, all these emperors was all ruling. And that just shows you the backstabbing and how the Most High was working one on them, right? But the point being is Nero, right? And we know, we believe right through the spirit, right? You know, the spirit brings us things that are deep things, right? And the reincarnation is one of those things. You can't be in this truth if you say you don't believe, understand reincarnation, because everything is reincarnated, right? This is 1 Corinthians 2 and 10, right? It said, but Yahweh hath revealed them unto us by his spirit, for the spirit searcheth all things, the deep things of Yahweh, right? He says, for what man knoweth the things of a man, says the spirit of a man which is in him. Even so the things of Yahweh knoweth no man but the spirit of Yahweh. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of Yahweh, by seeing Yahweh Shah, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Yahweh. Right? It says, which things also we speak, not in the words of which man wisdom teaches, but which the Holy Spirit teaches, comparing spiritual things with spiritual, man. Right? And this is spiritual thing, man, understanding reincarnation. Because when you understand it, right, you understand, right? So, we read, Ecclesiastes 1, 9, and 10, right? Nothing new under the sun. The things that have been, the thing that is, the thing which it is, and like I played the video at the beginning of the lesson, right? Elder Apostle Gabar, I guess they were talking to some it was some people walking by from doing a protest, and he was saying y'all was at the protest, right? He was saying, why he was telling like why those people been acting up like that, right? And he was like, Trump's Nero reincarnation, man. He's the Hellraiser, right? And so I wanted to show this real fast, right? Like I really kind of had it already pulled up, right? Right here, right? So it says, Nero sent Vespasian, and Vespasian, right, would have started in 66 AD, right? Right, with the siege of Jerusalem started in 66 AD, right? And this is how our people was, and it hit me through the spirit because Elder Apostle Gabar was going into, this is those things that have our people scattered all over, right? Really kind of started with the Assyrians, even as Apostle Gabar was saying, if you understand the history, right, with the Assyrians coming over. We read about that 2 Kings, 2 Kings chapter 17, also 2 Ezra chapter 13, where we talk about, how the northern kingdom, a lot of them came over here to the Americas. And this is going into, the southern kingdom. Because when you go back all the way from, from Saul to David, the kingdom was united. Then when Solomon came in, Solomon did those bad practices, right, with the woman turning his heart away. And then the kingdom was split. He, Most High gave Jeroboam, right, he gave him the northern kingdom, and he was an Ephraimite, right? Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom. You had, Judah, right? Judah being Levi, right? Which is the southern kingdom, right? And Judah being the head of all the tribes, right? You had Rehoboam, right? Solomon's son, right? He was the king at that. He was leader at that time. When the split happened, right? You had Jeroboam, the Ephraimite. He had Solomon's son Rehoboam, right? And it split, right? You can read about that in 1 Kings, chapter 11, right? But the point being is, when these people coming out, people go scatter all over, when 70 AD come, now people being scattered all over, the Africa things and that such. And that's the only tie-in we have with Africa. We're not Africans, man. Our people fled to Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution, right? But we're going to get into the point I want to bring out, nothing new under the sun, as I'm showing you this picture, right? Trump, the characteristics and the things these things show. That, Trump is that reincarnation Nero, man. No other way to try to put it, All right, so it says right here, right, Nero sent Vespasian to Jerusalem in 67 AD to quell the first Jewish revolt. The rebellion had begun in 66 AD, promoting Nero to dispatch his general. And the point being, as soon as the protest happened today, what did Trump do? As soon as the protest happened, right, he called the military. He called them, man. He called them up, right? Same thing Vespasian did. Send the military over there. What did Trump do? Call the military over here, right? It says, prompting Nero to dispatch his general Vespasian with a large army to restore order. What is Trump trying to do? Order out of chaos, man. He trying to get you routed up. Because you got to think, this is the revised Roman Empire, man. These devils reincarnate and come back. They got the same agenda, man. To come against nations, to come against Yahweh Shai chosen people. And ultimately, the scripture say they're going to try to make war with the Lamb, man. Right? They want to fight, man. They want this kingdom to go on forever and ever. Right? It says, to restore order, Vespasian's campaign initially focused on Galilee, other parts of Judea, which is Yahweh in Hebrew. But he said, but the siege of Jerusalem itself was left to his son Titus and Vespasian. It was left to his son Titus after Vespasian became emperor in 69 AD. Right? And we understand it, right? When Vespasian became emperor, that started the Flavian dynasty, where they came in, making it, he came in, Vespasian came in calling hell, right? So right here, right, I read this real fast. The first Jewish revolt was a large-scale rebellion against Roman rule in Yahweh, or in Judea, beginning in 66 AD. Emperor Nero, facing this major uprising, needed to restore Roman authority and sent Vespasian with a substantial army, man, right? So I want to show you something, right? Why was Jerusalem rebelling right? So right here, the Jerusalem rebellion against Nero, also known as the First Jewish-Roman War, was sparked by a combination of factors including oppressive Roman rule, religious tensions, and economic hardship. And what is Trump coming here doing? Like El Apostle Hart saying, causing hell, man. Same thing Nero was doing, right? Specifically, a series of incidents involving Roman governor Genesis Florus, including the plundering of the temple treasury, right? Including the plundering of the temple treasury, fueled the unrest. This combined with the border contest of Jewish nationalist aspirations of reinstatement towards Roman rule ultimately led to a full-scale revolt, right? Oppressive Roman rule, economic hardship, right? Things of that such, right? And it ended up being led to what? Jerusalem being taken captive, right? Israel being taken captive, being persecuted and hated, which is what you seeing these protests being led to, right? You seeing these people post these things saying, hey, they gonna shoot. You come protest here, they gonna shoot all type. You seeing these things, man. You seeing these characteristics where these things being showed, man. Right? There's nothing new under the sun. These devils don't do nothing but these devils all with the same agenda, man. Right? These devils reincarnated. Right? Everything's reincarnated. You got once again, you gotta understand reincarnation, man. Right? And Trump is that narrow, man. Look, Trump is narrow, man. Look at him. Right? Look at him, man. Right? He coming in with the same thing. You know that this is that revived Roman Empire, man. Right? This is that revived Roman Empire. Right? This is why America was established, man. So that enterprise to where they can bring in that new world order. Right? So because their whole objective is what? Right? Psalms 49 and 11, right? It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call the land after their own names, right? Let me see where I got it in my notes where it's going into reincarnation, right? It says they train their sons because it's going to pass from generation to generation, and eventually they will come back through reincarnation, right? So and they understand that. Esau don't know it. That's why Trump coming back on that same model. He come back on that same type of timing, man. He come back on that same type of timing. But that's why these things are brought back to our remembrance. That's why the true history is being brought back to us. That's why it's also in prophecy that Esau gonna be exposed, man. Right? They being made bare because the things they're doing, they transgress, ain't nothing new under the sun. Their whole objective is to push that new world order, man. Because they want this kingdom to last forever. Right? When the Romans came back into power, right? Oh, they want it all. They want it all, and they had to establish somewhere. So establishing somewhere was what? Getting that established was America, that enterprise. America goes into Job 5 and 12. That enterprise, man. They knew why they came over here, man. Those Spaniards knew why they came over here, right? But they all under the same agenda, man. Right? That's why the biggest threat to them is who? Israel. That's why they finna come so hard on Israel, man. Right? What is that? Jeremiah 30 and 7, right? It said, alas, for that great day, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of. He shall be saved out of is who, right? The elect, man. Because the elect going to be saved. The elect going to be delivered. The elect is the ones who've taken this knowledge of Yahushua, Romans 15 and 4. And, we find a patience and comfort because we understand that in due time, we're going to be delivered from this place. In due time, the Most High is going to bring that indignation upon Esau, Edom, for all that they're doing, from what they done back then to what they're doing now. Even when I was just, I was finishing, watching a little bit more of Elder Pastor Gabar lesson. He said that's why, Esau is known as the fugitive. Right, let's see if we can find that precept. Let's see if we can find that precept real fast. Lord, bear with me. Slacky. Let's see if you can find the precept. But going into it, right, you know, let's see, Genesis 4. I know it's going into Cain. Yeah, I know it's going into Cain. Right, it said, it is going into Cain, right? And Cain said to the Lord, my punishment, Cain said to the Lord, how my punishment is greater than I can bear, right? And we know that evil spirit that was on Cain, it came back through Esau Edom, right? He said, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me, right? It says, the Lord said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, which is that leprosy, right, as being stripped from their pigment, right? This is when you get to what the white people come into. Right? I'm looking for that precept where it goes into, you know, Elder Apostle Harvard saying, Elder Apostle Gabar was going into, you know, he was saying, Esau is that fugitive of Esau is that. Let's what Isaiah. Esau is that fugitive of justice, man. Because justice haven't brought on Esau yet, but it's gonna be brought on them, man. Right? Let's see if we can find it right here. Isaiah 16. Right, Lord willing, right? You know, that's not the one I'm looking for, but I want to go back to Ecclesiastes, though. Lord willing, you know, Spirit comes to me, you know. Lord willing, we get lesson on it as well, right? That's really a tight lesson that, you know, Lord willing, Spirit comes to me. But, you know, Esau's a fugitive to justice, man. They know they ain't, hey, they running from it. They trying their best to get away from it, but they can't, because justice is going to come upon them. Everything that they done is gonna be recompensed right back into their head, right? Let me see. Matter of fact, we got a precept for that in Joel, right? Let me see, the book of Joel. Matter of fact, I go to Ezekiel 35, right? It says, I'll get straight to the point. Ezekiel 35 in verse 5, right? You know, it's talking about Esau Edom, right? Because it said Mount Seir. Genesis 36, 7, 8 tell you, you know, this generation is where Esau come from, Mount Seir, right? He said, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, man. Right? But understanding, man, you know, hey, it's gonna be recompense for all that they done, man. They ain't gonna get away with none of it, man. They ain't gonna get away with none of it, right? But you know, Lord willing, right? I just want to make that point going into that, you know, because you know it hit me in the spirit earlier, right? And Lord willing, you know, I was doing some research, got things together before I went into it, but. Hey man, you know, if you can receive, you can receive it, man. You know, reincarnation is a spiritual thing, and understand it, man. You know, Trump coming on that same type of timing. It's narrow, man, right? You know, Lord willing, ain't nothing new under the sun, right? So that being said, you know, Lord willing, I hope this lesson is edifying and exalting, and I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakadice, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole flesh, starting with 144,000. Shalom.